Welcome to Carol and Gary's See America Tour. Hello everyone. After a long cross-country drive Sunday, Carol, Jasper, and I are now in Mountain View, Arkansas. When we checked in Sunday, the owner of the campground told us about a free Memorial Day concert downtown on the lawn of the courthouse and that the mayor of Mountain View was one of the members of the band. Here is a view of the courthouse with the band setting up. The mayor is in the red shirt with glasses. The band played from 7 to 10 p.m. that night.
Would you look at what came down the road today? Wanting me to be one more mistake to make. A bridge to burn to get to someone new. They pass me by if you're on me passing through.
How you doing?
You sure look like a traveling man. Don't get my shackles. Reality. What makes my living? Do what I do with a willing hand. Some can run, but that ain't like me. So I'll just dream, keep on being the way I am.
We took Jasper with us. He seemed to enjoy the concert too, but as soon as we got back to the motorhome, he walked straight to his bed and climbed in, so I think he was tired. Today is Tuesday, May 29th. Carol and I visited Blanchard Springs Caverns. The caverns are named after the original landowner, John Blanchard, who moved from Kentucky and homesteaded the land after serving in the Civil War. The land was sold to the U.S. Forest Service after Mr. Blanchard passed away in 1914. There are 3 guided tours available. Carol and I took the shorter dripstone tour first. It was an hour-long tour that covered approximately 1 mile. Our tour started by taking an elevator down 216 feet. The path was dimly lit, but well-maintained cement walkways and handrails made walking very easy. The dripstone tour winds through 2 interconnecting caverns. The cathedral room, the larger room, is 1,150 feet long and 180 feet wide. The coral room is 750 feet long by 150 feet wide. Our guide said that because the left side of this formation was wet, indicated by lighter sparkly color, it was still growing, whereas the right side's dull color means that it's dry and no longer growing. Some people say that this formation reminds them of a military battleship. This is a stalagmite because it grows up from the floor of the cavern. These are stalactites because they grow down from the ceiling. After the dripstone tour, Carol and I waited an hour to take Discovery Tour. The Discovery Tour is a longer, more strenuous tour. It is 1.2 miles long with nearly 700 stair steps and explores the middle levels of the cavern. The well-maintained path was also dimly lit on this tour, but our guide kept us walking, so there weren't as many opportunities to take pictures. We went through what is called the Discovery Room. It is 100 feet high by 100 feet wide. It is also the deepest point in the caverns, at 366 feet below ground. This is what is known as flowstone, thin sheet-like mineral deposits. These ridges formed on the floor of the cavern occur because flowing water ripples. When it ripples, it gives off its carbon dioxide. Loss of carbon dioxide makes the water less acidic, which causes the water to drop the minute amounts of minerals in the water. These minerals form the tiny walls that you are seeing. On Wednesday, May 30th, Carol, Jasper, and I visited Blanchard Springs. This small waterfall is coming out of Blanchard Springs Caverns where we visited yesterday. Blanchard Springs travels down the hill where it passes under a small bridge and then feeds into Mirror Lake. After leaving Mirror Lake, Carol had found an article about Steel Falls in a tourism magazine and wanted to go see it. The book said it was approximately 10 miles from Mirror Lake near Gunner Pool Campground. The book said go 5.8 miles past Gunner Pool Campground. The book said turn right on FR 1113. The book said go 1 mile and park on the left. A gate prevents motorized vehicle use. Well, I'm here to tell you that we drove at least 2 miles and didn't see any gate or any side roads. We finally gave up and headed back toward Mountain View, but stopped at Gunner Pool Campground on the way back. Gunner Pool Campground was down in a valley along a creek with magnificent stone walls reaching to the sky. Campsites were rustic, but I guess you would expect that in a national forest. Jasper found the creek and decided he needed to cool off, and apparently so did Carol. I heard a splash and then found Carol sitting unhurt in the water. On the way back to Mountain View, we stopped at a swing bridge, originally built in 1914 as part of the first road through the Ozark National Forest. This one-lane bridge was destroyed on December 3, 1982 after flooding from 19 inches of rain damaged the bridge, but because of the historical significance, the bridge was rebuilt in 1984. Here is the bridge from the side. Thursday, May 31st, Carol and I went to the Ozark Folk Center in downtown Mountain View. As the name suggests, the center has a large variety of folk art items on display, made on site and all for sale. All of the artisans were willing to demonstrate how they made their craft. The first thing we saw were dolls made out of corn husks. The lady who is making most of the dolls is 98 years old and has been invited to make dolls for the Smithsonian Institute. This male and female doll are 100 years old. Next we saw decorative brooms being made by hand. This part of the video was sped up. Then we saw this lady making baskets. She was adding the last row of the side and then was going to be making a border along the top. We saw a lady making lye soap. Here she is cutting the soap into individual bars for sale. This lady was using heat from a small torch to add decorative colors to a piece of copper. Unfortunately, you can barely see all of the colors that she was adding by adjusting the temperature of the torch. This was a mother-daughter duo playing a guitar and fiddle. Finally, this lady was cutting colored glass to make decorative things. Here she was working on roosters. She lines each piece with a thin layer of copper and then solders everything together. After visiting the Folk Center, our tickets included seats for an indoor evening musical performance put on by local talent. This was some of the best fiddle and banjo music that I have heard in years. Kids as young as 13 were singing, dancing, and playing instruments. And with that, Carol and I are done touring Mountain View, Arkansas. We have what I hope is a minor problem with the 30-foot slider on the driver's side of the motorhome. But there have been no RV repair techs near us this week, and I'm not expecting any next week. So rather than risking damage to the slide, we decided to skip next week in another part of the Ozarks and go straight to Little Rock for 2 weeks, hoping that Camping World could fix it. Camping World wasn't returning phone calls earlier in the week, so Carol and I decided to drive to Little Rock today and set up an appointment in person for next Wednesday. Little Rock is 2 hours south of us. Sorry that this video went a little longer than normal, but we've had another busy week. If you enjoyed this video, please subscribe to be notified of future videos and feel free to share with your friends. Thanks for watching.